Jamie, I'm gonna keep looking at you.
Oh, I should go behind you.
You should, yeah. I'm gonna have a tendency to look at you.
Jeff just can't stop looking at me.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about board games and board gamey things. You might be like, why are you alone? Well, Jamie's gone. Just kidding, she's right there. I wanted to do another video talking about mental health. If you remember or have been watching the channel for a while, I did a painting video, but it was painting talking about my struggle with anxiety and mental health issues. So I wanted to do another one of these, less about painting, more about just the hobby and my struggle with anxiety and kind of what's happened in the past, year. And the primary objective of this is to just normalize it and make it okay for people like me and people like you to be willing to open up and have a discussion about it. Because I feel like mental health is this taboo thing that people hold inside themselves, and it's not, depending on generations, maybe not a thing that is super prevalent or understood or being, I guess, willing to discuss with others. But if anything, I just hope there's maybe some people out there that are struggling with this sort of thing, and this gives them some closure, or they feel heard, ultimately. So in that last video I did, I talked a lot again about how painting was therapeutic for me. I've dealt with anxiety actually, you know what? I'm discovering through therapy now that I've dealt with this my entire life. I thought it was something that fabricated itself due to some health concerns I had many years ago, which I'm not going to get into. But come to find out, I've been this way much, much longer than I ever gave credit to. Board games is a way for me to calm things down. Some days are worse than others. Sometimes my mental capacities aren't quite there. If we ever play games together and you see me fiddling with stuff or getting up from the table to go for a walk, that's probably my anxiety triggering. And that's okay. I guess I would just ask, if you're playing games with strangers or people maybe you don't know super well, try to apply a lens of understanding. Sometimes people are going to be rude and jerks, and that's reality. But sometimes that's not the case. Maybe and I'm not excusing ill behavior, but all I'm asking is maybe, because I've had people that don't know me make comments about my fiddliness and my desire to get up or stand up or just take a quick walk. It's not out of rudeness. It's not out of lack of interest in the game. It's just my brain is like, hey, we need to go do something. It comes up in videos. We get comments all the time of, me looking grumpy or, and sometimes I am, because sometimes I'm having we call it a bad brain day. And Jamie and I have tried to have conversations about me identifying that to her so that maybe we don't film that day. But again, I just ask that people give grace when grace is required. So all that being said, I kind of wanted to dip into this year and what happened. I had a severe anxiety attack mid-January. It was probably one of the worst I've ever had. And that led me down a path of medication. I know that medication is frowned upon by some people, and that's totally valid. I understand that point of view. But when that happened, while I was in that anxiety attack, my anxiety attacks don't last an hour or 2 hours or 10 hours. They last weeks. And I was in a situation where I needed to figure something out. I met with some doctors and ultimately came to the conclusion that over the past 10 years, I've struggled with identifying what I thought was some major health issue that I had. Come to find out, it's just anxiety. My anxiety is very physical in nature. It impacts me very physically. Muscle spasms, jitteriness, headaches, tension headaches, heart palpitations. And the problem with anxiety is you spiral. You spiral out of control because then it's, well, why is my heart beating so fast? Well, why do I have this headache? What if there's something actually wrong with me and no one's listening to me? That's the problem. So in January, I started taking medication, and it was a very, very difficult path for many, many, many weeks. That type of medication takes a long time to start working, especially the one I am on. But I want to remove the stigma, or try to remove the stigma, that medication is the bane of existence. And I'm not trying to convince people to take medication. That's not why I'm here. I'm just trying to tell you that it changed my life. For the better. Anxiety is never going to go away, and that the medication doesn't, it's not the intent. It's just to reduce the lows and even you out. So I've been on medication since January, and it's been a lifesaver, ultimately. So how does that impact board games? I think what's important to understand about board games and mental health is to find a way, if medication is not your path, understanding that board games is a very valid way, in my opinion, to reduce the mental strain of anxiety. Because a lot of the time it's that spiraling mental capacity of overthinking and trying to control things you cannot control. So what I have found with board games and painting and just organizing, whether it be organizing board games on the shelf or organizing, a TCG into a binder, or organizing your paint, or organizing your video games, is that it keeps your mind away from all of those other things. It gives it a purpose. It gives it a end goal. And that end goal could be anything, It could be a solo game. It could be a game with friends. It's anything that can take you away from that pattern of repetition that happens inside of our ridiculous brains when we have anxiety attacks. And I know that it's not easy, especially when, the panic sets in and all of these things. But I think trying to normalize your moment by moment decision making space when that stuff is happening is really important. I think board games are a really good way because they provide a multitude of avenues to help with that sort of thing. It's not just playing the game. It could be, like I just mentioned, it could be organizing the game. It could be reading the rule book. It could be just having friends over. But at the end of the day, what I really hope that this short video can relay to you is that if you're struggling with anything, there are people out there willing to help you. And you are not alone, and you're not weird, and you're not, you shouldn't be afraid, because quite honestly, going through the therapy and the things I've gone through and realizing that, hey, I've dealt with this since I was a child. I mean, I'm 37. It took me 37, well, not 37, because I'm sure I wasn't. Maybe I was anxious as soon as I came out of the womb. I don't know. Maybe. But you know what I mean. It took me decades to figure this stuff out. And that's okay. Because, at the end of the day, it's a product of who I am. It's not this boogeyman that, you need to hide away from the world. Face it face on, or hit it face on, and try to tackle it in any sort of way you can. And just know that, I'm here. We have a Discord community, and I've had people reach out to me privately and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Can we talk through it? I'm not a therapist, but I'm happy to be an ear and help any way I can. I think we just live in an environment where things are so hard right now. And I come from a place of, I don't struggle with a fraction of the things other people struggle with, is what I'm trying to say. But I can at least identify that the world we currently live in is hard, and it's very easy to sink into your own shadow of whatever you want to call it, your own crazy little world of anxious thoughts and sadness and depression. And I just think it's important that every once in a while someone comes out and says it's going to be all right, and there are people around you that can help. And this doesn't just apply to anxiety or mental health. I think it's important for people like me to state overtly that this hobby in particular is open to whomever, whether you're dealing with mental ailments or physical ailments, if you're a certain race, if you're a certain belief, if you are gay, straight, trans, it doesn't matter. You are welcome in this hobby, and if anyone says otherwise, they're not worth your time. Kind of getting off topic, but I think it's important because there's a lot of people in my life and a lot of people in this hobby that still feel like they are the gatekeepers. And it's just not okay. So I'm just here to say that you have my support, and for whatever that's worth, and that you're heard and that you belong. And I hope that someday we get to play a game together. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to come on here and speak to this quickly. And, you know, I this isn't an outcry for help. I want to be clear about that. This isn't me crying for support. I'm fine. I have an awesome support structure. I have a lovely wife and a very supportive wife. I have a very supportive ecosystem of friends. This isn't that. This is for all of those other people that don't have that, to say you do have it, and I will help you find it if I have to. But at the end of the day, play games. Don't worry about, it's easy to say don't worry, but find a way for board games to help you get over that crutch of crazy, anxious thoughts, because this hobby was the best thing I found for my mental health. And I think it's important to spread that out, because I think it could help a lot of people that haven't found it. And if this video gets to a fraction of those people, then, that would mean the world. And it got to a point where, we have this platform, and, it's important that we use this platform for good. And we've always believed that, and this is just another piece of that puzzle. So anyway, that's enough for my rambling. I'm not going to do the normal outro, but thank you for listening to my spiel. Again, if you need support or want to chat or whatever, you can head over to our Discord community. Feel free. I can't answer every DM that comes in, but I certainly do try my best. Just know that I am here if I am ever needed. If you like what you see, you can please subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Later days.